came to dance, 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 dance. I hit the floor cause that's my plans, 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 plans. I'm wearing all my favorite brands, 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 brands. Give me some space for both.
Hello and welcome to the March episode of Kmms. In this episode, we're going to have some test-taking advice from teachers, as well as an interview with Ms. Vogel and Mr. Everline about a boat they're making. We've got 5 facts you probably didn't know about St. Patrick's Day, a student council update. We've also got an interview with a teacher spotlight, and we've got an interview with Miss Love about Miss Love's kitty shelter, Whisker. Thank you, and enjoy this episode of KMMS, because you are news. Hello, I'm George Boundary here for KMMS, here with Chet, for a student council update. Chet, our first question is, do you have any upcoming fundraisers for student council?
Yes, during April we're going to be having, beginning of April we're going to be having our annual diaper drive. So this can be happening. Maybe the second half of April we're going to be having an animal shelter fund drive. So that's basically going to be our April.
And do you have any spirit weeks planned?
Not that we know of, not yet, but there will most likely be one coming very soon.
And are you still selling yearbooks?
We are, yes.
Where?
You can pick them up in Miss Yu's room, I believe, or Miss Kerr's room, either one.
And how much do they cost?
$20.
Thank you, Chet. I'm George Boundary. This is Chet. This is KMMS, because you are news. Hi, I'm George. I'm here with Mrs. Johnson. We're going to be asking Mrs. Johnson a few questions. Mrs. Johnson, where are you from?
Well, I was born in New Hampshire, but I grew up in Oklahoma and came here to go to the University of Arizona.
What do you teach?
I teach language arts.
And where did you go to college?
University of Arizona.
How long have you been teaching here at Mansfield?
This is my first year at Mansfield.
Thank you, Mrs. Johnson.
You're very welcome.
I'm George. This is Mrs. Johnson. This is KMS, because you are news.
Hello, I'm Mr. Summers, one of the 8th grade math teachers. One of the test-taking tips that I'd like to give you is to eat a good breakfast before you come in. Something with protein, like eggs, bacon, that kind of thing. And drink a lot of water. That'll help you. Thank you.
Hi, I've been asked to give a couple of tips about test taking. So let me give you an example of something we did in class. I showed a short video about microbiology, and I asked the students at the end of the video, what did you learn about the video, and what are some professions that have to do with microbiology? What are some aspects about microbiology? And of course, none of the students could answer that. So then I said, all right, I'm going to ask you those questions again, and I'll re-show the video. And I re-showed the video, and I asked the questions again, and lo and behold, the students got most of the questions right. And so I think that speaks to a couple things that will help you in the test taking. One is skim the material first. Just take a look at it, peruse it, and then look at what the questions are, and have in mind what the questions are when you go back and read it again. And then you'll have a purpose of your reading. You'll set an intention for your reading. So you'll know what it's about, and you'll know what you need to be responding to, what you need to respond, what questions there will be, what are the best answers for those questions, and you'll do much better. So those are some advice, that's some advice that I give to you. The other thing is just relax. Try to not get tense over the test. It's an important test, but it's not the most important test of your life. But if you feel yourself starting to get a little stressed, maybe put your hand on your belly, breathe in, breathe out, relax, and then just let the test come to you. With those tips, read the material first, look at the questions, go back, find the answers that respond to those questions, and relax during the test. I know that you guys will do great on Arizona Merit. So good luck.
My tips for vocabulary that you're not familiar with would be to try to figure out as many context clues as possible. Try to figure out what part of speech the word is. Is it a noun, is it a verb, describing word? Do you think it's a positive or a negative word? And look at all the clues in the sentence. Maybe it's been defined in another part of the sentence. Look for things like that to try to help you understand the word. And you don't need to know exactly what it means to be able to understand the sentence.
Hello, my name is Mrs. Estrada, and I wanted to go ahead and give you a test tip. What I would like you to do is just kind of think back to everything you learned in the past year and be confident as you're taking the test, and you'll do really well. Good luck.
All right, some test taking strategies for math are to make sure you read the question really carefully. You want to make sure you know what they're asking you, that you explain it to yourself before you ever start answering. And then another good one is to look at the answers first and see if you can eliminate anything just because you know it doesn't make sense. Another good strategy is to make sure once you get your answer that it makes sense according to the question they asked you. It's really helpful to draw pictures, diagrams, write sentences, words, anything that will help you make sense of what you're doing before you actually solve it. And then always going back and reviewing your answer.
Hello, I'm George Ballinger, and this is 5 facts you probably didn't know about St. Patrick's Day. Fact number 1. St. Patrick was born at Kilpatrick in Scotland in the year 387 and died at Salt, Ireland in the year 461. Number 2. St. Patrick's Day is celebrated on the date St. Patrick died. Number 3. St. Patrick's birth name was Maewyn Succat. Number 4. St. Patrick was captured by a group of Irish pirates when he was 14 to 16. We don't know the exact date. Who took him to Ireland as a slave for 6 years before he escaped back to his family. And finally, number 5. St. Patrick was known for wearing blue. The use of wearing green on St. Patrick's Day began in 1796 during the Irish Rebellion, when the clover was used to show nationalism. Thank you. Thank you. This is George Ballinger. This is KMMS, because you are news.
This is Alexis with Kmms interviewing Ms. Vogel and Mr. Everline. What is your guys' project about?
Well, we're going to make flotation devices using 2-liter bottles, and they're going to have to float Mr. Everline in a pool outside. Is that true?
That's true. We're going to study buoyancy, what makes things float, and we're going to study boat construction, boat design, and every class period of Ms. Vogel and myself, that's 10 class periods, each one will have the opportunity to make a boat out of 2-liter bottles. Their goal is to float me, and the team that uses the least number of bottles that successfully floats me for a full minute will be the winner of our competition.
How many bottles do you need to get a boat?
People bring in 3 bottles, they get a boat marker.
When is the project happening?
We'll be doing the project the last few weeks of school, so the very last week of school, or maybe the week right before that, is when we'll be testing.
Thank you, Ms. Vogel and Mr. Everline. I'm Alexis here with KMMS because you're news.
Hello, I'm George Ballinger, and I'm here with Miss Love to talk about Whisker. Miss Love, what is Whisker?
It's an organization. We get cats from PACC, and we get them ready for adoption. So any medications they need, any vaccines, if they need shots, we get them spayed, neutered, anything like that. And we get them ready for adoption. We take them to adoption events, and they get adopted.
What does Whisker stand for?
We save kitties at risk.
Thank you, Miss Love. I'm George. This is Miss Love. This is KMMS, because you are news.